Hello everyone, I'm Claire, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to the newest Holo Taco release, their Pixel Perfect collection. If you've seen my videos reacting to their other releases this year, or Mooncat and Cadillacquer collections, then you know what we're doing here. I'm not someone who gets PR from brands, and I don't typically buy full collections, I just pick up my favorites when I can, and that means I can't always do a swatch and review like other creators, but I still want to be able to talk about new releases, so I like to go through each of the polishes, discuss how I feel about them, and if they're going on my wish list. I'll also talk about the collection in general, the vibes, the color story, that kind of thing. And hopefully if you're also someone who's a little more selective about what you get, or you're on a low buy or a no buy, then seeing this approach to new collections is helpful for you. I definitely think that buying nail polish isn't the only way to enjoy it. So let's get into it. Holo Taco is a boutique nail polish brand based in the US and founded by Christine from the Simply Nailogical YouTube channel. Their Pixel Perfect collection features 7 glitter polishes in a somewhat rainbow palette. The theme is gaming, video games, in like a cute, cozy, girly kind of way, as described by Christine. So think low-res animation, bright colors, playful competition, that kind of thing. But I'll get into that more a bit later. For now, time to talk about the polishes. Going in rainbow order as much as we can, first is CTRL Cutie. This is kind of a bright pastel color palette, so instead of a red, we have a medium pink. It's not super pastel, but not super bright either. Might lean a little bit more cool-toned than warm-toned. And as far as the finish, all of these polishes have very similar compositions. They're chunky glitters. So they have a lightly tinted jelly base, and then holographic glitters in a range of sizes and colors, including silver square-shaped glitters. Once I heard the theme of this collection, I was pretty sure we were going to get those square glitters to represent pixels. We've seen them a couple times before, most recently with the polish Inside Job in last year's Royalty collection. And I like this finish. I think the squares add some nice extra dimension, some extra sparkle compared to the glitters that don't have them, though the corners can stick up a little bit and make it harder to get a smooth finish, but I don't mind that too much, so I'm definitely happy to see a full collection of these glitters. But this color isn't really doing anything for me. I like pink, but I prefer hot pinks or deeper pinks, like Bless Your Heart from the Disco Cowboy collection, so I'll be skipping this one. Next we've got Byte My Peach, which is in the orange position of the rainbow, but the color is kind of hard to define. The description calls it a peachy pink. There are times I think it looks like a rose gold, or an orange, or just another pink or light red. Seems like it's one that can look pretty different depending on lighting and who's wearing it. But I like this one more than I expected to, since things in the orange range aren't always my favorite, but something about it is calling to me, so it's going on my wish list. Might not get it until Black Friday or something, but I'm looking forward to getting it eventually, and it's either going to be really flattering on my skin tone or clash weirdly. The next polish is Coin Toss, which is described as a neutral gold glitter. One of Holo Taco's first glitters was Gold Play Button, which was very yellowy gold and has also been retired. So this kind of fills the gap left by Gold Play Button, but is also different enough to not feel repetitive. This version of gold feels a bit softer and more elegant. I will say, I kind of wish we had gotten a true yellow. I think a bright sunshine yellow in this formula would be really fun and honestly feel more cohesive with the other colors, since Coin Toss kind of feels like a neutral among a bunch of bright, fun polishes. And I know yellows don't sell very well, but neither do golds, so I feel like they would be pretty even in that sense. At the same time, I do like this polish. I think it's really pretty and it's going on my wish list, so I'm not upset that we got this color. I just wish there was room to have a yellow as well, but I know that it wouldn't really make sense to have 2 of a color that not many people buy. Next we've got the green of the collection, Bonus Life. I use air quotes because this does not read as a true green to me. The description calls it mint green, but I would just call it a light teal. And if you've seen my other videos, you know how I feel about teals and turquoises and aquas and anything between green and blue. They're not my favorite, but I know that they are generally pretty popular, so I can see why Holo Taco went this direction. A teal is going to sell better than a true green. I don't know if I would even buy a greener version. It would depend on the tone, since I tend to prefer yellowy greens or earthy greens. So I can imagine a green in this formula that I would like, but Bonus Life isn't it. It's not going on the wish list. And now we have another in between blue and green shade, but this time more on the blue side. This is 8-Bit Blues. It's described as an aqua, and I do agree with that label, so you can probably guess how I feel about it. And again, I do understand why they went with this color. There's a retired Holo Taco glitter called Frostlight, and it was a light blue, so if they had done a more mid-toned blue, it probably would have been too close to that one. But by going with this aqua color, I actually think it ends up being too close to the polish we just saw, Bonus Life. Like, there were definitely moments when I was watching reviews of this collection and not quite giving them my undivided attention because I was editing a video, and I would look up and not be sure for a second if I was seeing Bonus Life or 8-Bit Blues. If I see them next to each other, I can totally see the difference, but otherwise they seem similar. And it might just be because I don't have as much of an appreciation for these colors, but I kind of feel like we don't need both a bluish green and a greenish blue. I get they're popular, but it would be nice to see the less popular colors get at least a little more space in this collection. So I'll be skipping this one too. Now, in the indigo position, we have Lofi-Lavender. This color is somewhere between blue and purple, but also has a little bit of gray in it, I think, so could potentially be called a periwinkle. And this color does make sense to me. A 7-piece rainbow collection is generally going to include an indigo, or at least a cool-toned purple. This one, in my opinion, isn't too close to any other color in the collection or to past Holo Taco glitters. You can compare some of the colors in this collection to the Pastel Rainbow Linear Holo collection, and this is one of them. It's a similar color to Lavender Syrup, but that's a very different formula, so I don't feel like that's an issue. And I do really like this one. I think it's a very pretty color, and it's not too similar to anything I have, so it's going on my wish list. And last is Glitch and Glam, which is a warm purple color. Holo Taco has released purple glitters before, but they've all been limited edition. Probably the closest shade was Glitterly Purple from the 2nd Anniversary Remix collection, but there was also Glamethyst in the first Royalty collection, and Inside Job from the 2nd Royalty collection, which had square glitters, but was a darker shade of purple. So it's nice to have one in the permanent lineup, and I do think it's different enough from the others to be part of the Holo Taco catalog. But in my collection, I do have Inside Job, and I feel like this one is similar enough that I don't need it, especially because I do prefer the darker shade of purple anyway, so I'll be skipping Glitch and Glam. So yeah, those are the polishes. I ended up adding 3 out of the 7 to my wish list, which compared to the other collections this year is kind of a lot. And of those 3, Lofi-Lavender was selling the best on launch day, and Byte My Peach and Coin Toss were the 2 worst sellers. I feel like that happens to me a lot with Holo Taco. I buy the most and least popular polishes in a collection. That was the case with Rock Candy and Birthstones last year, and maybe some other collections too. Not sure why it happens, but it's kind of fun. Now I want to take some time to talk about the collection as a whole, starting with the color story because, as you can maybe tell, I wasn't totally happy with it. I understand that Holo Taco doesn't want to do the exact same rainbow every time, like they did that with their 3 rainbow linear holo collections where each had the same range of colors and you could compare 1 to 1 to 1 and see, here's this collection's red, and it's orange, and it's yellow, and so on for all the colors. But with the Rock Candy collection last May and now the Pixel Perfect collection, it seems like the strategy is to focus on and expand the more popular parts of the rainbow, and that means the less popular colors like orange and yellow and green get crowded out and neglected. Like in the Rock Candy collection, instead of getting both a yellow and an orange, we got one polish that was between those colors. We did get a true green though, and the red was a little bit orange leaning, so I feel like you could say it was 3 less popular colors against 4 that were pretty likely to sell well. But in this collection, we have the peach and the gold, but the other 5 shades are teals/aquas and indigo, purple, and pink, which are all popular colors, so it's 2 versus 5. And I can't really fault a brand for wanting to release more of the products that they know are going to sell the best, but at the same time, there is a percentage of customers who want to buy yellows and greens, and when you're as big a brand as Holo Taco, I feel like that's not an insignificant number of people. So I would have liked to see at least one more polish that caters to those customers. Like they could have kept the aqua, but given us a true green instead of teal. Something like that would have felt a lot more balanced, to me at least. Let me know what you think in the comments. Moving on to something I do like about this collection, let's talk about the theme. Like I mentioned before, the theme is gaming, but in like a cutesy nostalgic way, not a hardcore gamer way. And I'm not a gamer. I didn't really grow up playing video games, except the occasional Mario Kart or Wii bowling at a friend's house. I have learned a lot more about video games since being with my partner, since they are an interest of his, but I haven't personally gotten further than just thinking, Pokemon seems fun, maybe I'll pick that up sometime. But there are a couple reasons that I do still like it as a theme. One is that even though I'm not a gamer, the polish names and the references are non-specific enough that I don't feel left out. If it were based on a specific game, then I might have felt like this collection isn't really for me, but as is, I can still enjoy the aesthetic without feeling like there's anything I don't get. Another thing is that I think this collection finds a good balance between being something that fits with Christine's style and preferences and interests, and something that caters to other people and aesthetics. Like, I thought that the cottagecore collection was a bit lackluster, and I attributed that partly to it not really being Christine's style with the soft, muted creams, and I thought maybe it would have been better in some way if she were more personally invested in the theme. With Pixel Perfect, she says it was actually another team member who came up with the idea to pair a gaming theme with square glitters, which was honestly inspired. Great job them. But it doesn't feel as far removed from Christine's style, since she does like glitter, and she does do gaming streams. And I'm not saying every collection needs to be exactly her aesthetic, since that would really limit what we get, but since she is the face of the brand, I think it's nice for there to be some connection. It just adds a little extra something. I also just really appreciate that this collection puts glitters in a context other than holiday. Glitters aren't the most popular finish, at least partly because they have a reputation for being hard to remove, even though there are solutions like the soak-off method or a peel-off base coat. And I think Christine has also mentioned that there's a subset of customers who don't want the super blingy, sparkly look of a glitter most of the year, but they are more inclined to buy glitters during Christmas or the holiday season. And that's why Holo Taco has mostly released glitters for their holiday collections, and we don't get them a lot at other times. But I feel like it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, because Holo Taco has reinforced the idea that glitters equal holiday, but releasing glitters in the spring with a gaming theme puts them in a totally different context, which might make people think, oh yeah, glitters can be fun at any time. At least I'm really hoping that's the outcome. I missed a lot of the first glitters that Holo Taco released that have since been retired, and I want them to do more glitter collections in the future, so I hope that these ones do well enough for glitter collections to be a more regular thing. And last, I want to talk about what we can expect from Holo Taco in the next couple of months. Christine said during the launch livestream that the next new release will be the anniversary collection, and those always happen in July, but there are a couple things that will probably be happening before then. One is a price increase. Lots of nail polish brands have announced price increases because tariffs are making it a lot more expensive to import the pigments they use. When it comes to the boutique brands specifically, Mooncat's price increase has already gone into effect. The prices for all of their products went up by $1 to $2, which means their specialty finish polishes are now $16 to $18, and their creams are $15. I'm pretty sure that makes them the most expensive boutique brand since they were already on the higher end. ILNP is going to increase prices by $2.50 on most of their specialty finish polishes, but that actually feels more reasonable because they were priced at $10 before, so they're still more affordable than some other boutique brands. And I don't really follow Cirque as much as other brands, but it looks like they have also announced an increase, though they were a little bit more vague on the details. Holo Taco hasn't officially announced their price increase yet, but Christine has mentioned that it's going to happen at some point, and that they were planning to raise prices this year anyway, just because they haven't done it in a few years and there's been inflation and such. But now with tariffs, there's all the more reason for it to happen. So I won't be surprised if we hear the official announcement in the next few weeks. Holo Taco's current prices are $12 for top and base coats and creams, $13 for toppers, $14 for most specialty finish polishes, and $15 for magnetics. So I'm hoping they don't raise prices on everything. Like, if they just increase specialty finish prices by $1 or so, that would feel fairly reasonable, but much more than that, and you start getting into Mooncat territory, which is not really somewhere you want to be in this context, since I've seen a lot of people say that they aren't going to be shopping for Mooncat at this price point. But we'll see what happens. In more fun news, Christine said that Holo Taco has finalized which birthstone polishes are being brought back. If you don't know, Holo Taco released a 12-piece birthstone collection in October last year, and said it was limited edition, but the most popular shades would be brought back and become part of the regular catalog. They ended up doing a full restock in December because the first batch sold out much faster than expected, but now they've decided on 5 that will be brought back again, and I think will continue to be restocked as long as there's demand and they can get the pigments. We don't know which 5 yet, except for maybe Emerald City, but I'm guessing that the restock will happen in June since there won't be a new collection releasing until July. And last year, whenever there was a month without new polish, there would still be something happening to encourage people to shop, like announcing which polishes were retiring in January, or including a free mystery polish with orders for a week in June. So since June is the first month this year without a release, it seems like a good time to bring back some birthstones. And I do have a review on my channel of the 6 birthstone polishes that I got, so hopefully that'll be helpful if you're thinking of shopping the restock. And other than that, the main thing to expect will be the 6th anniversary collection in July. Holo Taco always does something special for their anniversary. Last year it was thermals. Not sure what it'll be this time, we haven't really gotten any hints yet, but it does seem like it'll be the first collection this year with a collection box, so if you've been missing those, should be something to look forward to. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you to everyone who's watching till the end. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Pixel Perfect collection, if you bought any of it, if you agree with any of what I said, or if you have different opinions to share. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would leave me a like, or maybe even subscribe. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!